And remember Afghanistan? Let's talk about how Joe Biden said any American who wants to come home will get you home. Well, that sounds like the words of a lying dog-faced pony soldier to me.
Madam Speaker, the distinguished gentlelady from Colorado called the President of the United States, or likened him to I think she said, a lying dog-faced pony soldier. We obviously could have taken those words down, but we have serious business to do here. And unlike some of our colleagues on the other side, we're not interested in censoring other people's speech. We want the whole world to see how the gentlelady from Colorado speaks in public as a member of Congress. We want everyone to look at that.
Hello, Bobby Jones here for MeidasTouch and Valor Media Networks. And we're doing something a little bit different this week. I have the distinct honor and pleasure to bring to you a bona fide leader, a proven leader. I would like everyone to meet Rear Admiral Eileen Laubacher, United States Navy retired, and she is running for Congress. She's running for Congress in Colorado in a specific district, and I'll let her talk about that as we get into who she is and who she's running against. But I want to focus on her because her story of service and selflessness is exactly what I think America needs right now, and I wanted to bring her to the forefront. So, Admiral, thank you for joining me today. Can you just give me a little bit about your background? How did you wind up here?
Sure. My pleasure, Bobby. And please just call me Eileen. One of the greatest pleasures of retiring after 34 years is getting my first name back. So, it's such a great question. This is something, when I was leaving the Navy, people said to me, you should consider running for office. And I thought, and I said, I would never, ever do that. I never thought in a million years that that I'd be running for office today. But, I just saw what was happening, starting in January. I just saw what was happening to the Department of Defense, to the State Department, to all these institutions and organizations that I hold so dear. And I just couldn't stand by and not try to do something to make a difference. I have always wanted to live a life of service. I decided I was going to go to the Naval Academy when I was about 3 years old. My dad was teaching history at the Naval Academy. He was a lieutenant in the Navy at the time, teaching history at the Naval Academy. And I would march around our apartment listening to parade music and say, I'm going to go to the Naval Academy. And that was well before women could go. And I just always wanted to serve. I just always wanted to serve my country. And that's always been a huge part of who I am. And I took the oath, as did you, Bobby, at the Naval Academy when I was 17 years old for the first time, raised my right hand and swore to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And I really felt that I have never felt our country in as much jeopardy as I do at this moment. And I really just struggled with what should I do? I was looking forward to, I have 5 kids and 3 grandchildren. And I was really looking forward to spending more time with my husband and my kids and my grandkids. But I just really felt that I should try to do something. And so then when I was thinking about it, living here in Colorado, I thought to myself, well, if you're going to do this, Eileen, why not try to take on Lauren Boebert, who I have long felt is a disgrace to the good people of Colorado, to Congressional District 4, but to Colorado more broadly. When in my last tour, I was working at the White House on the National Security Council staff. And when people would say, where are you from? And I would say Colorado, they would say, oh, Lauren Boebert. And I was like, no, it's more than that. And I do feel that this is more than that. It's more than about her. It's about what America needs right now and what America wants right now, and sort of what I'm willing to do one more time for our country. And that's sort of how I came to be here. I had to have a long talk with each of my 5 kids and my husband, and everyone was like, go for it, Mom. So here we are.
Well, it's funny you say that, Eileen. The oath you took at 17 has no expiration date.
That's so true.
And you served your entire adult life serving others. So it's not a surprise that you would feel that calling. Moving into this, you mentioned you're in Colorado District 4. That is Lauren Boebert. She moved to that district because she was getting challenged in the old district. And I mean, you are exact opposite of this woman, to be honest with you. She is a noted mouthpiece for the whole, MAGA movement. And I guess the thing that just jumps out at me, can you explain how your experiences in uniform make you different than her? Because y'all have lived completely different lives.
Sure. I think the thing about being a veteran is that you prioritize, your country and your team above yourself, right? It's a willingness to do something that is not beneficial for you. It's about serving a higher calling. And so that is that is the thing I think, and particularly as a leader in the military, my oldest son, child 3 of 5, is enlisted in the Navy. He's a cyber warfare technician.
Wow.
And
Smart.
he talks about, didn't enlist that long ago. And he talks about the fact that, they talk to them about leadership right from the get-go, that you lead up and down and sideways. And I think that that's just a part of who we are, being in the military, is that we just believe in the idea that you have to help others, to serve others, to do the best thing for our country and for other people, even if it's not the best and the easiest thing for you. This is not the easiest thing for me, but this is something that I think is worth sacrificing for. And I think that's sort of, as well as I do, Bobby, that's what being a veteran is all about, right? Is we're people who have said we'll put ourselves on hold, and really our families on hold, and do things for our country, because that's the most important thing.
I couldn't agree more. And so, along those lines, because, obviously you've lived your life where you've shown that you are about the action of sacrificing for others. That's not debatable. But are there any particular issues that really, concern you as you look at America? Like, what are you willing to stand up for? Who are you fighting for if you are sent to Congress?
Yeah. So I think, I see a lot of things that are gravely concerning, right, for America and for Americans right now. The big things that I'm really concerned about for Colorado, but really more universally for the United States of America, healthcare, right? Affordability, accessibility of healthcare is hard. It is hard to find good healthcare, and we're so fortunate. We live in a suburb of Colorado, but my Colorado District 4 is huge, and a lot of it is rural, and rural hospitals, rural clinics, nursing homes are all in grave jeopardy, even more so by this budget bill, which, if it passes the House, is going to devastate our healthcare system. Not only is it going to be terrible for those rural communities I'm talking about, but it's going to cause the cost to skyrocket everywhere. Costs, like, we have an affordability problem right now. Things are very hard. And I think that what we're going to see is that is going to continue to grow. That bill is going to cause our electricity bills to go up and everyone's healthcare bills to go up. There's a ton there that's really concerning for me. Housing and jobs. We have a housing crisis nationwide, but we certainly have one in Colorado. I don't know that my kids will ever be able to afford to come back and live here. This is where we moved right after I got off active duty, and we've lived in this same house for 27 years, other than the times that the Navy's called me to go do other things for the country. And I don't know that the kids will ever be able to live here, and that is hard. And then overarchingly, as a veteran, I'm super worried about veteran issues. I think that that all of the things that we're talking about impact veterans dramatically and personally. And I am worried about how this is going to impact the people that I served with, the people that I fought with, the people that I love, my brothers and sisters in arms. And that weighs on me very heavily.
And that's because, again, you're used to worrying about others before yourself. Let me just say this. You hit on something that I've heard a lot here in the last year, and that is my kids will not be able to afford to live the life that I got to live. Buying a home, having a stable job. The day-to-day things that, generations before us kept improving on. For the first time, people feel like we're going backwards, right? And I'm glad that you're highlighting that. The bill that just passed in the Senate, the big, beautiful bill they're calling it, J.D. Vance was the tiebreaker. And you're right. It goes back to the House now. And this is going to be fascinating, because you cannot tell me that the members of the House of Representatives do not understand how this is going to impact people, especially, like you said, rural districts like yours, where it's hard to even have hospitals, let alone maintain them and go. So let me ask you this follow-up question, and then I'll let you go. What are you seeing as you start your campaign? What are the concerns of your district? What are they saying?
Yeah, I mean, I think all these things that I'm talking about are the things that are impacting people there. I think that of course, there are other huge areas of concern, like gross corruption, right? That is super disturbing. I mean, we've got to figure out how to fix all of those kinds of things. There are other problems, but I think what impacts people the most are things that impact their lives on the day in and day out, and all of the things that we would want to take for granted are genuinely under attack. And that is really worrisome to me, because I think that that what we saw in the last election was that people were voting because of the economy and the promises that things were going to get better. And we are not feeling those things. My kids are not feeling those things. I think the idea that we're less well off and that our kids are going to be less well off. Now, look, I believe in this young generation, right? My kids are amazing human beings, and they are fantastic. And I believe that they are willing to work hard to make things better for themselves. But all of them have that same spirit of service and wanting to do for others, be it my son in the Navy, or my oldest daughter is in Minnesota and works as a caseworker, constituent services for Kelly Morrison in Congress, and then one of my daughters is in the healthcare field. I think that our young people are amazing, and they will do amazing things, but we need to find ways to unburden them so that they can be their best selves, right? So that they can be awesome people, awesome parents. And so I want to do everything that I can. I want to exhaust myself to ensure that we are leaving them a better world.
You did a fantastic job of explaining who you're fighting for. And I would hope that every congressional member has that same mentality, and finally, you hit on something too, the corruption. A return to integrity is so needed in our government. And you've had to live that life. You didn't get to just talk about it. You had to live it as a naval officer and a flag officer. Do you have anything final that you would like people in your district and beyond to know about you and your campaign and why you're running?
Yeah, thank you so much for asking. I think what I'd want them to know is that my goal is to serve them. Right. The reason that I am doing this is because I want to serve the people of Congressional District 4. I want to give them the representation that they deserve, the leadership they deserve, as you said, the integrity that they deserve, someone who generally cares about them more than I care about me. And I will exhaust myself. I will do everything that I can to make their lives better and to make a difference that matters for them in Congress.
Eileen, I cannot thank you enough for taking a few minutes. I'm blown away. I'm not just by your, running for office, but your actual life, your life story. It's amazing, but most importantly, it's proven. It's proven deck plate leadership, as we say in the Navy, right? So, those who are watching, you'll see a link to her campaign to donate or to reach out in the description below. But Eileen, good luck, and we will be talking again, I'm sure.
Great. Thank you so much, Bobby. It was a real pleasure.
Thank you.
Bye.
New Meidas merch drop. Check out the latest pro-democracy sticker packs, t-shirts, hats, sweatshirts, and more. All at store.MeidasTouch.com.